feelings are never right or wrong. They just are. And I think I've discussed this before and talked to you about this. But what happens when you're in a relationship where someone invalidates your feelings? You know, it's important that when we're with someone who respects us and that we love, they listen to us and they try to hear us out when we're talking about our feelings. When somebody invalidates them, they try to talk you out of them, they try to ignore them, or they try to somehow shame you. That makes you feel bad for feeling the way you do. I'm going to go through a list of what it looks like when someone doesn't validate your feelings. I'm going to start with couples because I think that's so important. Your significant other is a one person who you should be able to count on who will validate or at least listen to how you feel. Doesn't always mean they're going to agree, but they'll at least listen to you. The first one is you never get to make any decisions. If you're in a relationship that all the decisions are made for you, that's a sign that your partner is invalidating what you feel or what you talk about feeling with them. Secondly, they straight up reject your emotions. When you get emotional or you have feelings that are intense, they basically will withdraw or they'll just say, that's stupid. They tell you what they think you really feel. And I think that's the most manipulative in many ways, because sometimes someone, your significant other, has their feelings front and center and they want you to believe their feelings. And so if they try to tell you what you're feeling, that's a very important sign and you want to be aware of it in the future. Or they tell you how you should feel. I think those two kind of go together, but both of them are significant and to be aware of. They ignore you. When you talk about your feelings or anything, they simply tune out. They don't listen. And it's very lonely, and it's a very lonely feeling, and it makes you feel worthless when your partner does that. They make you feel like your feelings are a fault or a weakness or something that's wrong with you. And it's quite the opposite. Our feelings are what make us human. They're really what makes us strong. Or they're dismissive. They'll try and take up for the other person and say, I think you misread that. I don't think that's what it was at all. That's someone who is not valuing your feelings. Someone who is basically making you feel bad about the way you feel. If you're with someone that does these things, it's likely that you're the kind of person that has this happening with more than just your partner. And I really want you now to kind of focus on what you're putting out there, what vibes you're putting out there, and also consider what other people say to you. Are there other people invalidating you? That all of a sudden you go back to your partner and you put increased attention on what they say because you're feeling or you're getting invalidated from others in your life as well. So invalidations in general with friends, coworkers, people you meet sound like this because I think we get immune to them or crusty. We forget when people say these things what they're really representing. I'm sure it wasn't that bad, or you're overly sensitive. You probably took it too personally. Just let it go. It could be worse. Or God doesn't give you more than you can handle. You shouldn't be angry for any other person's feelings. That didn't happen. Stop making things up. I'm not going to talk to you about this anymore. Invalidation can also be nonverbal. Rolling your eyes, sighing, ignoring, playing on your phone while your partner's telling you how they feel, or someone's telling you how they feel, or any distraction, tuning into something you're seeing on TV or a magazine, or leaving the room. All of these are invalidating of what someone is saying. So if you're running into this, maybe with your closest family, friends, coworkers, and it's being accentuated in your relationship, I think you really have to start like becoming self-aware and making changes. So what do you do when your feelings are invalidated? Well, the first thing, if it's any of these that I just called out, I think it's important that you ask yourself, how close are you to this person? Does this opinion matter? And has this person been interested in understanding your feelings in the past? So is this a change? Is it a good use of energy to help them understand? Some people, like a stranger or an acquaintance, you're not going to give them the energy or waste your valuable time trying to help them see how important your feelings are. I would rather you just walk away from that kind of person. If they're not significant in your life, it doesn't really matter. You're worth more than that. I'm asking you to step up and have a better sense of self-esteem and confidence. You're worthy. You are worthy as you are. Does this person have a habit of invalidating your feelings? One thing you know about that is if they do that to you, they probably do it to numerous others. It's more significant of their character than what they have with you. And how have you responded in the past? Have you spoken up for yourself? Have you advocated for yourself? Have you talked it out? These are important things, and I'm going to really encourage you to do this with your partner. And sometimes it's not worth it to have a stranger validate us. I think that's an important point too. You see this on Twitter. People are just spewing out stuff. Don't try to get more from them than what you need. They're just someone on Twitter. You have no idea who they are, where they're from. Don't waste your valuable time on that. And generally, though, the closer the relationship, the more important it is to advocate for yourself and to stand up to them. So how do you do it? How do you stand up for yourself? How do you get the validation you need? Well, the most important thing that I'm going to tell you today is that it's important that you're validating yourself. There's a lot of empty people out there, and they're looking for others to tell them they're okay. I want you to really stop doing that. Going forward, I want you to start focusing on building yourself up, starting from the inside. Stop looking at all those likes on social media and all the hearts and anything else. Place less value on that. Start repeating positive affirmations. Start reminding yourself of what you do well. Start doing a search of every strength you have and make note of it. Write it in a journal. These things are going to really help you start advocating for yourself. And secondly, it's really important for people you care about who say they're caring and committed to you, that you start calling them on when they invalidate you. That you say, you know what, that hurt my feelings. When you tune me out, it makes me feel like what I feel doesn't matter. Or when you tell me how I'm feeling is stupid, I lose trust in the ability to trust what I'm feeling. And that's a very dangerous position for me to be in, because you can remind your loved one it's very important that you can always trust your gut and know that your feeling is just a feeling. But if it continues every day to be this same feeling, that means that feeling is significant to you. And anyone who loves you or says they love you should take that seriously and try to accommodate and try to understand it and helps validate and accept you with that feeling. Remind your loved one that validating your feeling has nothing to do with saying yes or accepting what you say as their truth. It's accepting that what you tell them you're feeling is upsetting you right now, and then trying to step in and see what you can do to help that person with that feeling. That's what love looks like. And I think lastly, it's important that you understand this. We all get stuck in emotion. You're not rare. You're not a standout. You're not isolated. There's nothing broken with you. But what we learn to do is we learn what helps us feel better. When I'm feeling sad and I don't have anybody I can talk to, what can I do? When I'm feeling sad, I know what helps me. I listen to upbeat music. I journal. I take some time to maybe take a bath. I find ways to calm myself. Going for a walk in the woods is really helpful to me. But you will have to identify what works for you. And once again, this is all coming from the inside. The more value I give of myself to others to determine, the more problematic my relationship is going to be with them. I have my values inside and I know what I feel. I trust it, but I don't try to just go on with it and on and rehash it. I accept I'm a human. I accept that I feel this way. I accept it's okay to feel this way. I honor what I'm feeling, and then I can release it. And I hope if you practice this that you will too.